She thought she was alone. Wearing a worn-out maid uniform and earbuds in her ears, she danced like no one was watching. Because no one was supposed to be watching. Until the elevator dinged, and standing there, frozen in the doorway, was Zayn al-Karim, the billionaire CEO who never smiled. He watched her, and for the first time in years, he smiled. Her name was Nia, just 23, a small-town girl from Ghana, trying to survive in a city of gold, Dubai. She'd come to the UAE on a domestic work contract, cleaning the penthouse suite of the reclusive, cold, and insanely rich tech mogul, Zayn al-Karim. He was rumored to be worth $2.8 billion. Built his empire at 27. Feared in boardrooms, worshipped in headlines, but known for one thing. He never spoke unless it was business. And he never, ever smiled. To him, Nia was invisible. She came in early, cleaned in silence, left before sunset. He didn't even know her last name. She was just the help. Until that morning, Nia had arrived early to clean the rooftop lounge. The skyline shimmered through glass walls. Nobody was home. Zayn had left for Singapore the day before, or so she thought. She popped in her earphones, pressed play on her Afrobeats playlist, and lost herself in the rhythm. Barefoot, free, and alone, she twirled and laughed, dancing like the marble floor was a stage. Her hips moved with pure joy. Her body spoke in ways words couldn't. For once, she wasn't a maid. She was just a girl who loved to dance. But she didn't hear the elevator open behind her. Didn't hear the soft footsteps. Didn't see Zayn walk in with his briefcase in hand, pausing mid-step, mesmerized. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. He watched her, the sway of her waist, the freedom in her smile, the way she moved like no one had ever told her, no. And something shifted inside him. She spun around and froze. Her smile died. The music stopped. Zayn stood there, one brow raised, lips curled into something that almost looked like amusement. Nia's heart pounded. I thought you were in Singapore? He said nothing, just walked over, slowly, dangerously calm. She backed away, terrified she'd be fired, or worse, deported. But he simply whispered, dance again. What? Dance? I want to watch. Her mouth fell open. I don't dance in front of people, she stammered. Zayn stared at her. You already did. And then, like a command, he pressed play on her phone. The music returned, and so did the moment. Something dangerous was happening in that penthouse. Something that would spark tabloid headlines, shatter family expectations, and threaten empires. Because the cold billionaire just saw something he couldn't unsee. And Nia? She was no longer just a maid. She was the first woman who ever made Zayn al-Karim feel something. He told her to dance again, and she did. But what she didn't know was that from that moment on, she wasn't just a maid. She became an obsession. Because for a man who controls companies, nations, and even people's futures, losing control over his heart was the one thing he never planned for. And now? He wanted her, but on his terms. Nia tried to forget it ever happened. She told herself, he was just playing with me. Rich men do that. So she returned to cleaning his floors, folding his silk shirts, and avoiding eye contact. But Zayn? He became a different man. Suddenly, he was home more often. No more cold silence. Now, he watched her. He watched how she dusted, how she reached on tiptoes to clean the windows, how her curls fell in front of her face when she concentrated. One evening, she walked into the penthouse to find a brand new sound system installed in the lounge. With a note that simply read, dance freely. Nia's heart skipped. She ignored it, until the gifts started. A box on her cot in the staff quarters, Yves Saint Laurent perfume. A velvet bag on the kitchen counter, red-bottomed heels in her size. An envelope with her name, for your brother's school fees. Don't say no, She was furious, grateful, confused. She stormed into his office. Why are you doing this? Do you think because I danced in your living room, I'm for sale? He looked up from his laptop. Calm, icy. No, I just believe people should be seen when they're extraordinary. You are. She blinked. I'm a maid. He stood slowly, walked toward her, close enough for her to smell his Tom Ford cologne. No, he said softly. You're the first real thing I've seen in a very long time. She left the room shaking. That night, she cried on her thin mattress. Because no man had ever looked at her like that. And the next morning, she woke up to find her entire staff room cleared out. What's happening? She cried to the housekeeper. The older woman sighed. Mr. Zayn said, you don't sleep with the staff anymore. You now have a guest suite. Nia's world spun. I never agreed to that. But Zayn had made his decision. And that's when the rumors started. Among the maids, in the elevators, on the upper floors, the maid is sleeping with the boss. She danced for him once and now she's untouchable. She'll ruin him. At first, Nia ignored it. Until Zayn's fiancée showed up. Yes, the one he'd been betrothed to since he was 19. Princess Aliyah bint Rahim, daughter of an oil tycoon. Flawless, ruthless, and furious, she cornered Nia in the spa lounge with venom in her voice. "You're not special," Aliyah hissed. "You're just the latest charity project." Nia tried to speak, but Aliyah raised a hand. "You think you've captivated him? He's only chasing you because I said no to moving the wedding date. He's bored, sweetheart." That night, Nia packed her bags. She wrote Zayn a note. "Thank you for the perfume, the music, and the fantasy. But I'm not your game piece. I'm leaving." She didn't wait for sunrise. She didn't tell anyone. She simply disappeared, but what she didn't know was that the night she vanished, Zayn had planned to propose. She was gone. No goodbye, no trace, no forwarding address. And for a man who could track satellites, control global data, and bankrupt nations with a click, Zayn al-Karim couldn't find one maid who stole his heart. But obsession has no limits. And this time, the cold billionaire was ready to burn the world to get her back. The note sat on his pillow. Zayn stared at it for hours. "Thank you for the perfume, the music, and the fantasy. But I'm not your game piece. I'm leaving." His jaw tightened, his hands trembled. A rare sign of emotion from a man whose heart was once a steel vault. "Find her," he barked into his phone. "Sir, find who?" "Nia, the maid, the woman I should have never let dance for me." Within hours, his private security team was scanning footage, interrogating staff, and searching Dubai's backstreets. But she'd left no digital trace. No bank activity, no visa use, no phone ping. She'd disappeared like smoke. Zayn cancelled all board meetings. He stopped showing up at public events. The media began to whisper. Has the Ice King finally snapped? Zayn al-Karim missing for 2 weeks. Where is Dubai's richest bachelor? His fiancée, Princess Aliyah, launched a PR campaign, claiming Zayn was mentally unwell and spiraling after stress. She even leaked old photos of them kissing, trying to manipulate public sympathy. But Zayn didn't care, because he had just gotten a lead. One of his drivers remembered something. "I dropped her off at the African consulate 2 nights before she left, sir." Zayn's heart pounded. He hacked the immigration database. There it was. Nia had flown to Accra, Ghana under her legal name, Nia Boki. He booked a private jet that second. But what he didn't expect was what he'd find in Ghana. The village was small, dusty roads, roaming goats, wooden homes. Zayn arrived in a black bulletproof SUV. The entire town stopped to stare. He was escorted to a 1-bedroom clay house. An old woman greeted him at the door. "She's not here," she said. Zayn raised an eyebrow. "You know who I'm talking about? You think I don't know the face of the man who broke my granddaughter's heart?" Zayn's lips parted. "I never meant to hurt her. You didn't have to mean it. You just had to do it." Suddenly, a small voice from the side of the house spoke. "Leave him alone, Nana." Zayn turned, and there she was, Nia, wearing a local wrapper, braids tied up, no makeup. More beautiful than ever. His breath caught. You really left." She walked up slowly. "You weren't supposed to come." He stepped closer. "You weren't supposed to take my heart with you." She blinked fast. "Don't say that." "Why?" "Because I still love you," she whispered. "And that scares me more than anything in this world." He pulled something from his pocket. A black velvet box. "Nia Boki, if you can forgive me, if you can see beyond the diamonds and empires, marry me." She gasped. "What? I don't want you as my maid. Or my obsession. I want you as my wife." Tears streamed down her face. But before she could answer, a voice behind them shouted, "Don't say yes. You don't know the secret he's hiding." They turned. It was Aliyah, in Ghana, with a team of lawyers. And a contract that could destroy Nia's life forever. Just when Nia thought she was about to become the wife of a billionaire, the princess showed up, in Ghana, with lawyers, with documents, and with a secret so dangerous, it could ruin Nia's entire future. Because Zayn had lied, not once, not twice, but about everything. And now, the price of loving him was higher than she ever imagined. Nia froze. Aliyah's designer heels kicked up red dust as she marched forward, flanked by 2 lawyers in black suits and sunglasses. She smirked. Touching reunion. Shame it has to end in legal drama. Zayn stepped in front of Nia. "You don't belong here, Aliyah." "Oh, I do," she hissed. "Because I brought the truth with me." The one you were never going to tell her. She snapped her fingers. One lawyer opened a sleek silver briefcase. Pulled out a confidential contract. Aaliyah held it up. Recognize this, lover boy? Zayn's jaw clenched. That was sealed. Well, not anymore. Nia looked between them. What is this? Aaliyah turned to her, smiling sweetly like a cobra. This, my dear, is the non-disclosure employment contract you signed when you were hired to clean his penthouse. Section 6, paragraph 12. She flipped a page and read aloud. Employee is forbidden from entering into any romantic, personal, or sexual relationship with Mr. Zayn al-Karim. Violation of this clause may result in termination, deportation, or permanent legal ban from the UAE. Nia's breath caught in her throat. What? Zayn grabbed the paper. This is outdated. I had that clause removed months ago. Aaliyah cut in. Except you didn't file the update officially. And guess who still holds original custody of the employment files? Me. She smiled wider. As your former fiancé and business partner. Nia stepped back. So, if I go back to Dubai and marry you, I could be arrested? Zayn cursed under his breath. I'll fix this. I'll call the minister myself. Aaliyah raised a hand. Too late. Dubai's Ministry of Labor already received this contract. You bring her back? She's detained at the airport. Tears welled up in Nia's eyes. You said it was real. You said this wasn't a game. Zayn grabbed her hands. It's not. I'll burn every contract. I'll shut down every company I own if I have to. But Nia pulled away. You should have told me. I was trying to protect you. You were trying to control me. Just like everyone else. Aaliyah tilted her head. So, what now, Nia? Run back to Ghana and live with your goats, or stay in hiding forever while the whole world mocks you as the maid who seduced a billionaire and got deported? Zayn turned to her, furious. What do you want, Aaliyah? She took a breath. It's simple. I want her to walk away. Nia stared. Why? Aaliyah's voice lowered. Because I'm not the villain you think I am. I didn't come to save you. I came to save him. Nia narrowed her eyes. What are you talking about? Aaliyah looked at Zayn. Tell her the truth, about the inheritance clause. Zayn closed his eyes, then whispered the words that shattered Nia's heart. If I marry a non-royal, I lose everything. Nia took a step back, tears in her throat. So it's me or your billions? Zayn didn't answer fast enough. And in that moment, she turned, picked up her bag, and walked away. She walked away, and this time, she meant it. Because no woman wants to be someone's second choice. Not to money, not to power, not to a royal title. But Zayn? He wasn't ready to lose her. So he did the one thing no one thought he'd ever do. He gave it all up. And what followed was the biggest scandal the Middle East had seen in a decade. It had been 13 days since Nia left him in Ghana. 13 days since Zayn al-Karim, the most powerful man in Dubai, had tasted humble pie, served cold, with a side of heartbreak. He hadn't returned a single call, hadn't signed a single contract. The media had gone mad. Has Zayn al-Karim lost his mind over a maid? Princess Aaliyah to inherit 60% of company shares as engagement rumor resurfaces. Royal marriage clause threatens billionaire's entire fortune. But Zayn didn't care, because on the 14th day, he made the announcement that changed everything. At a televised press conference, standing on the steps of al-Karim Global Headquarters, Zayn removed his Rolex, laid down his pen, and said, effective immediately, I am resigning as CEO of al-Karim Holdings. I renounce my claim to the royal marriage inheritance clause. I choose love over legacy. If I go broke loving her, I'll die rich anyway. The world lost its mind. Shareholders panicked. Stock prices dipped. His mother fainted on live TV. Aaliyah sued him for breach of contract and called him mentally unstable. But Zayn? He was already on a plane. Location: Ghana, again. This time, he didn't arrive in an SUV. He walked into the village alone. Dust on his shoes, sweat on his brow, no security, no titles, just a man chasing the only thing that mattered. He found Nia teaching dance at a local youth center, barefoot, laughing with children. She turned when she saw him. Her face froze. I thought you were gone for good, she whispered. He stepped closer. I was. Until I realized I'd rather lose billions than lose you. She blinked. What did you do? I gave it all up. My company, my seat, my shares, even the damn penthouse. You what? I'm not a CEO anymore, Nia. I'm just a man, with a ring, and a question. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box, opened it. No diamonds, no gold, just a braided silver band made by a village blacksmith. Will you marry me, not as my maid, not as my muse, but as my equal? Tears rolled down her cheeks. You gave up your empire, for me? He smiled. Empires can be rebuilt, but a love like this? He took her hand. That only comes once. She nodded. Yes, yes, Zayn, 1,000 times yes. But as they embraced under the golden African sun, a photographer in the bushes snapped a photo. And by nightfall, that photo was trending everywhere. Former billionaire caught in village wedding scandal. Is Nia Boki carrying his child? Because Nia wasn't just in love. She was pregnant, and the world was about to explode. She said yes. He gave up his throne. They chose love over legacy. But just when everything seemed perfect, a betrayal from within threatened to destroy it all. Because someone Nia trusted had been working against her. And the final twist? Zayn may not be the father after all. 3 months later, in the lush hills of Ghana, Nia and Zayn were officially husband and wife. The world watched from afar, some cheering, others disgusted. Headlines still hadn't recovered. Ex-billionaire marries former maid in African village. Royal black sheep or romantic hero? Nia Boki, the pregnant wife who took down an empire. But Nia didn't care. Her belly had begun to show. Zayn read to it every night like it was already a child. They built a modest but beautiful home, far from cameras, with love in every brick. Until a letter arrived one morning. No stamp, just a folded sheet of paper on the porch. Nia opened it, her face drained. The message read, check the date of conception. The baby may not be his. You were still in Dubai. Think, a friend. Panic struck her like lightning. Her mind spun back to one night, 3 days before she left the palace. The night Omar, Zayn's cousin, came to apologize. They'd had wine. She remembered nothing else. Nia couldn't breathe. She confronted Zayn that evening, shaking. I need a DNA test. Before the baby comes. He looked stunned. You think I'm not the father? I need to know. He said nothing, just nodded. Then we'll know. They flew to Accra under heavy disguise. Blood was drawn. Results expedited. 3 days later, the results came in. Zayn is 99.9% the biological father. Nia sobbed into his arms. I'm sorry, she cried. I let fear ruin everything. But Zayn shook his head. You didn't let fear ruin us. You faced it. That's what love looks like. But there was one final twist. A week before their wedding ceremony in Ghana, a familiar face arrived uninvited. Princess Aliyah, pregnant, with twins, and a headline that stunned the entire Arab world. Zayn's ex-fiancée pregnant with royal heirs, claims cousin Omar as the father. But Omar was missing, vanished. Rumors said he'd been arrested in Morocco for laundering money through fake employment contracts. The same contracts Aliyah once used to threaten Nia. At the wedding, Aliyah approached Nia, head lowered, visibly defeated. I came to say, I was wrong. About everything. Nia stared. Why are you really here? Aliyah looked up. Because Zayn gave up the world for you. And I spent my whole life chasing a crown that was never mine. Nia smiled faintly. Then maybe it's time you started chasing peace instead. Aliyah handed her a tiny envelope. A gift. Inside? Ownership papers. A 10% stake in Al Karim Holdings. In Zayn's name, for your child, she said. And just like that, the woman who once tried to ruin her helped secure their legacy. 1 year later, Nia rocked her baby boy under a mango tree. Zayn, now writing a memoir called The Billionaire Who Let Go, kissed her forehead and whispered, from maid to mother, from empire to eternity. And the world? It never forgot their story. Because they weren't just headlines. They were the love story that defied a kingdom.